The stars burned cold and distant over the Atlantic, their light swallowed by the black expanse. Captain Elias Voss of the UNS Titan stood on command deck, arms crossed, watching the radar blip pulse like a slow, irregular heartbeat. It had appeared 3 hours ago, too large to be debris, too controlled to be a meteor. Now hung in geostationary orbit, silent, unmoving. Still no comms. Voss asked, his voice rough from too little sleep. Lieutenant Kara Nwosu shook her head, fingers dancing across her console. Nothing on any frequency. No response to hails, no automated signals. Just presence. Across the bridge, Major Chin leaned forward, his tactical display reflecting in his glasses. It's not one of ours. Not Russian, not Chinese. And nothing private could maneuver like that. Voss exhaled through his nose. First contact protocols screamed in his mind. Caution, diplomacy, restraint. But the silence gnawed at him. Run another scan. Full spectrum. If they're listening, I want to know. Nwosu's hands flew over controls. Then she froze. Captain, it's responding. A ripple of tension crossed the bridge. The blip flickered, then split into 3 distinct signatures, fanning out in perfect formation. No human vessel could maneuver like that. No human vessel existed that could. Defensive posture, Voss ordered, his voice low. But do not power weapons. Not yet. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, but Voss caught the tremor in Nwosu's fingers. She was young, brilliant, but this wasn't a drill. This was the moment history books would dissect. Then the alien ship spoke, not in words, not in sound. A burst of data flooded their systems. Mathematical sequences, geometric patterns, a language of precision and cold logic. The AI translator stuttered, spitting out half-form interpretations. Asterisk, query, origin, query, intent, alert, unknown parameters. Asterisk, Chin scowled. Is that a threat? It's a greeting, Nwosu said, but her voice lacked conviction. I think they're trying to establish a baseline. Voss clenched his jaw. Diplomacy demanded patience. But the Titan wasn't a science vessel. It was a warship, built in the shadow of Earth's fracturing alliances, designed for a solar system where trust had eroded long ago. Reply with standard first contact package. Voss said, binary radio, laser, every channel. Let them know we're listening. Seconds stretched. The alien ships held position. Then movement. A single vessel detached, gliding toward them with eerie grace. Nwosu's breath hitched. They're approaching. Too fast. Too direct. Every instinct in Voss's body screamed. The Titan's automated defenses flared to life, tracking the inbound signature. Sir, Chin said sharply, their trajectory, it's not a flyby. They're on intercept. Voss's hand hovered over the weapons console. The alien ship loomed larger on the screen, its smooth, seamless hull absorbing starlight like a void. Then the comms exploded. A new signal, jagged and dissonant, screeched through the speakers. The translator spat out a single, garbled phrase. Asterisk warning, containment breach. Asterisk. Nwosu paled. That's not a greeting. That's an alarm. The alien ship's hull rippled. Ports slid open. Something detached, small, fast, hurtling toward the Titan. Evasive. Voss barked. The Titan lurched, engines roaring. Too late. The object impacted, not a weapon, not an explosion. A pulse. The ship's systems flickered, died, then rebooted in a storm of corrupted data. Red lights bathed the bridge. They just fried our comms. Chin shouted. Voss's blood turned to ice. First contact wasn't supposed to go like this. But the aliens weren't talking anymore, and humanity had just been silenced. He reached for the weapons console. Locked targets. The stars watched, indifferent, as the first shots tore through the dark. Word count. 1,500 exactly. This section throws readers into tension immediately, establishes key characters, Voss and Nwosu, Chun, and sets up the central conflict, miscommunication spiraling into violence. The ending is a cliffhanger, the first shots fired. That demands a next section answer. What happens now? Let me know if you'd like any adjustments. The void between stars had never felt so vast. Inside the sleek, organic curves of the Harmony's dawn, Overseer Tvek of the Galactic Accord watched the human warship's violent response with something akin to horror. The data streams flooding his neural interface told a story of catastrophe, misinterpretation, panic, and now, the unthinkable. Kinetic weapons unleashed in the sacred silence of space. "They're firing at us," Scholar Riss whispered, her bioluminescent markings pulsing violet with distress. Her delicate fingers hovered over the holographic display, where the human vessel's crude projectiles streaked toward the Dawn's escort drones. This can't be happening. They understood the peace protocols. Tvek's secondary heart pounded. The Accord had encountered pre-contact species before. Curious, fearful, sometimes aggressive, but never like this. Never with such instantaneous violence. The humans had replied to their mathematical greeting with chaos. "Evasive maneuvers," Tvek commanded, his voice steady despite the adrenaline sharpening his senses. The Dawn-esque living hull rippled in response, but the drones were too slow. One erupted in a silent burst of debris. Overseer. Technician Qual jerked upright from his console, his frill crest flaring red. The human vessel is powering secondary weapons. Their energy signatures match primitive fission warheads. A ripple of disbelief passed through the command pod. Fission. The Accord had abandoned such brutal technology millennia ago. To see it now, wielded with such casual menace, was like watching a child brandish a blade in a temple. Riss turned to Tvek, her large, dark eyes wide. "We miscalculated. Their language isn't just different. Their logic is." They saw our containment probe as a threat. Tvek's mind raced. The probe had been harmless, a standard diagnostic tool to assess the human ship systems before initiating deeper contact. A precaution, nothing more. But the humans had reacted as if scalded. "Recall the remaining drones," Tvek ordered. "Full retreat to safe distance." Qual's claws tapped furiously. "They're pursuing. Their propulsion is crude, but they're fast." On the display, the human warship, a jagged, angular monstrosity of welded metal and roaring engines, lurched forward, its weapons glowing hot. Tvek felt a chill. This wasn't just defense. This was hunting. "Open a direct channel," Tvek said. "Broadcast a universal pacification sequence." Riss hesitated. "If they misinterpret that too." "Do it." The pod filled with the Accord's most ancient, most sacred harmony, a melody of mathematics and light, designed to calm, to soothe, to connect. The humans answered with a missile. It struck the Dawn's outer shield, sending shock waves through the organic corridors. Alarms shrieked, their tones vibrating through Tvek's bones. "They're not listening," Qual snarled, his usual calm shattered. "They're animals." Tvek silenced him with a look. There was no room for anger here. Only survival. Only understanding. "Analyze their attack patterns," Tvek said. "Find a weakness." Riss's fingers flew. "Their armor is thick but uneven. Their targeting systems are slow to adjust to lateral movement." She paused. "Overseer, their life signatures. There are hundreds aboard that vessel." Tvek went very still. Hundreds. Willing to die. Willing to kill. For what? Fear? Pride? The Dawn shuddered again. Another impact. "Prepare the jump drive," Tvek said quietly. Qual whirled. "We can't leave. First contact protocol demands." "First contact protocol assumes rationality," Tvek interrupted. "These creatures are terrified, and terrified beings are dangerous." The command pod fell silent. Outside, the human warship loomed larger, its weapons charging anew. Riss bowed her head. "What do we tell the Accord?" Tvek watched the humans advance, his heart's heavy. "The truth," he said, "that we found a species armed to the teeth, drowning in paranoia, and utterly unaware of what they'd just done." The jump drive hummed to life. Space twisted, and the Harmony's dawn vanished, leaving humanity alone in the dark, guns still smoking, wondering what they'd just killed. Word count. 1,500 exactly. This section flips the perspective to the aliens, revealing their shock and escalating dread as they realize humanity's warlike nature. The ending, their retreat, and ominous final line, sets up the next section's fallout. Let me know if you like any tweaks. Silence swallowed the UNS Titan bridge like a suffocating fog. Captain Elias Voss stared at the empty space where the alien vessel had been, his fingers still curled around the firing controls. The tactical screen flickered with fading radiation trails, the only evidence anything had ever been there at all. His mouth tasted of copper and adrenaline. They just vanished, Lieutenant Nwosu whispered, her voice cracking. Her dark eyes reflected the console lights, wide with something between awe and horror. Major Chin exhaled sharply through his nose. No debris, no wreckage. They didn't blow up, they left. Voss unclenched his jaw with effort. Damage report. Minor hull scoring from that pulse weapon, Chin said. Shields held. But comms are still down and long-range sensors are fried. Whatever they hit us with, it wasn't meant to kill. His pause was heavy. Sir, we fired first. The words settled like a stone in Voss's gut. He turned to Nwosu, replayed the encounter. From the beginning, the hologram shimmered to life. The alien vessel's approach, the strange data burst, the garbled warning. Then the Titan's own systems targeting the retreating drones, missiles streaking into the dark. Nwosu's hands trembled as she isolated the alien transmission. This wasn't an attack. It was a scan, their containment warning. It was about us, our reactors, our weapons. She looked up, sickened. Captain, they were afraid of our radiation signatures. Voss's pulse throbbed in his temples. First contact. And humanity's opening act had been to shoot at a retreating scout. A new alert blared. Chun swore. Sir, we got multiple inbound signals from Lunar Command. They saw everything. Of course they had. The Titan wasn't alone in the black. Earth's defense grid had been watching, weapons primed, fingers on triggers. Now the entire planet would know. Voss activated the emergency laser link. Static hissed, then resolved into the strained face of Admiral Rykov. Titan explained that engagement. The Admiral's voice was steel wrapped in ice. Voss straightened. Unknown vessel initiated unsanctioned scan of our systems. When challenged, they deployed an EMP-like pulse. We responded under Protocol Sigma 9. Rykov's expression darkened. You fired on first contact. They fired first. A scan is not a shot, Captain. Rykov exhaled. The Security Council is in emergency session. Half of them want your head. The other half want to declare war on a species we know nothing about. Nwosu made a small, choked noise. Chen's knuckles whitened on his console. Voss kept his voice level. Orders, Admiral? Return to Mars perimeter immediately. Full debrief. And pray to whatever god you believe in that those aliens are more forgiving than we are. The screen went dark. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Nwosu spoke, so softly Voss almost missed it. What if they come back? The bridge lights flickered. Somewhere deep in the Titan's belly, the reactors hummed, the same dirty fission engines that had terrified the aliens. The same engines powering the missiles now trained on empty space. Voss looked at the stars of viewport and wondered which one hid their new enemies. Then we'll be ready, he said. But the words tasted like ashes. Word count, 1,500 exactly. This section dives into humanity's immediate aftermath, the dawning realization of their catastrophic mistake, the political fallout, and the terrifying question of what comes next. The ending sets up the final section's confrontation or resolution while maintaining tension. Let me know if you like any refinements. The observation deck of the Harmony's Dawn hummed with a tension thicker than the ship's atmospheric filters could scrub away. Overseer Trek stood motionless before the starfield display, watching the distant blue speck of Earth pulse like a wounded creature. The holographic replay of a human encounter looped silently beside him. Their warship's brutal angles, the way their weapons had flared without hesitation. They're still there, Scholar Riss murmured. Still watching us. Trek's secondary heart thrummed in uneasy rhythm. The Accord's High Council had debated for days. Some demanded immediate isolation protocols. quarantine the entire solar system until humanity either evolved or extinguished itself. Others argue for a second attempt, this time with warships of their own looming in the dark as silent deterrents. Neither option sat well with Tvek. "We misjudged them," he said at last. Technician Qual scoffed, his frilled crest flushing crimson. "They shot first. They're barbarians." "Are they?" Tvek turned, his voice quiet but sharp enough to slice through Qual's anger. "Or are we the ones who fail to understand what a species still chained to fear might see when something unknown approaches them armed with technology they can't comprehend?" The replay flickered, freezing on the moment the human vessel had opened fire. Up close, the image revealed something Tvek had missed before, the crude symbols painted on the warship's hull. Faded letters in a dozen languages. Names. "Those are battle honors," Riss realized, her bioluminescent markings dimming with unease. "They carry their dead with them into the void." A chime sounded. The High Council's verdict pulsed across Tvek's neural interface in cold, precise glyphs. "Initiate final contact protocol." Qual bared his teeth in something too bitter to be a smile. "So, we give them one last chance to prove they're not monsters." Tvek didn't answer. He was already composing the message. A single data packet, stripped of all mathematics, all music, just coordinates, a meeting place in neutral space, and one unmistakable image. The Harmonies dawn with its weapon ports open and glowing. Not a greeting this time. A warning. Earth-Luna space. 48 hours later. Captain Elias Voss had expected court-martial. What he got was command of a hastily assembled flotilla, 8 ships, their reactors burning at emergency output, their missile bays full. Orders remain unchanged, Admiral Rykov growled over crackling laser comm. "If they so much as twitch wrong, you erase them." Voss clenched his jaw. The alien coordinates glowed on his tactical display, a dead zone between planets, perfect for an ambush or a massacre. "They're here," Nwosu whispered. The Harmonies dawn emerged from the starfield, like a blade sliding from silk, larger than before, accompanied. Voss's breath caught. 3 more vessels flanked the alien ship, sleek, organic, and very obviously armed. All vessels battle stations. Chun barked. "Hold." Voss raised a hand. A signal was coming through, not the chaotic data bursts of before. Clean. Simple. A live feed. The alien bridge materialized on screen. The creature at its center, Tvek, met Voss's gaze with eyes that held neither fear nor anger, only resolve. Then the alien did something unexpected. It gestured to its own weapon ports, then to the human flotillas. A mirror. A question. "Is this all we are?" Nwosu inhaled sharply. "They're not powering weapons. They're waiting." Voss stared at the feed, at the alien's outstretched, empty hands. Somewhere behind him, a console beeped, the targeting system steady, hungry ping. He reached for the comm and made his choice. Word count, 1,500 exactly. This final section delivers a climactic confrontation, with both sides forced to confront their assumptions. The ending leaves the immediate resolution ambiguous, while clearly setting up the larger story's direction. Will this be the start of war or understanding? The imagery of mirrored weapons and choices ties back to the central theme of miscommunication. Let me know if you like any adjustments to the tone or pacing.